Hi everyone, Bert from Season Gaming, and back with another attachment for the Nintendo Switch this time. So what we have here is one of the Joy-Cons that you can pick up. It comes with just the left Joy-Con, and what this is designed for is for handheld mode only, but for having a legitimate D-pad. Now, one of the Nintendo Switch's biggest issues for a lot of people is that you don't have a legit D-pad. You have literally 4 buttons that are in the shape of a D-pad, and that causes problems for a lot of people depending on what kind of games you're playing. So if you're playing a fighter, some kind of a 2D game, a lot of people prefer to have a historical, legitimate D-pad. And that's what this is. This comes from Hori. It is a licensed Nintendo product. It is not an official Nintendo product in the sense to where it comes from Nintendo, but Hori is a great controller maker. They make a lot of peripherals that do a great job on here. So one of the key things to keep in mind here are what are the limitations in getting something like this. So the first limitation is that it's designed for handheld only. So keep that in mind. If you want to pick this up, you won't be able to play this with your Joy-Con detached, maybe playing on one of the controller attachments, or you won't be able to use it for motion or anything at all like that either. Other things to keep in mind, as it says here, handheld mode only. It does not have any vibration or motion controls, and it must always be connected to the system. So more than likely that means it's not going to have an internal battery of any sort, and it's probably going to weigh a bit different. So as I said, this is a bit of an unboxing, so let's get this open and see what's actually in here, and then we'll take a look at how it actually works on the system. So let me get started with that. Okay, so we've got everything open. There is a pretty thick book here. More than likely this is going to be just thick because of all the different languages. We're not going to go over all this. We're going to try this just from scratch and see what we're working with. And let's see, packaging is pretty standard cardboard. Nothing much else to it. You literally get just the Joy-Con in there. So let's get this out of the way. Got the instructions out of the way, and here is your Joy-Con. So I haven't seen this before, and yeah, immediately, it doesn't weigh anything. It's very straightforward. You can get this in what this is called the Super Mario one, there's a Zelda one, and I think there's just a standard one that you can find as well. So you have your standard buttons here. You do have the capture button here that you can see, and then you have your minus button, or I don't know what you want to call it, but it is the minus button and the plus button on the other side. And yes, you have a legitimate D-pad. So once again, let me actually take this out and compare them. So immediately, the standard Joy-Con weighs a bit more. It's not like some massive difference or anything to where this is heavy and this is light, but this is a bit lighter. The back, you know, it's pretty much the same. There's not any new shape or anything. You can see a couple differences if I just hold these together here. This is more of a straight fit with this actual trigger, the ZL trigger. This one's got what looks like just a click button, not like the long travel. This is very clicky. So let's actually put these on and see what's going on. So on the inside, you do have what would be buttons, but these actual buttons are like dead buttons. Let me actually see if I can click on them. Yeah, you can't even click on these, whatever. So these are not actual buttons. You're not going to find any different controllers here because it's literally only going to work when it's connected to the console. So let's power up the Switch. I already have it powered up here. And let me just slide this on here and see what happens. Okay, so for starters, it feels pretty standard, and it's working right off the bat. So there's nothing special here. You can see that I'm already using the D-pad. Let me just go to the controller section and see what it's recognizing it as. So it's acting like it's one of the other standard Joy-Cons. I can move this around immediately, but the second I remove it, as it says on here, you can't even do it that way. So if I hit the button, remove it, and it literally doesn't find it at all. However, if I have my other Joy-Con here, it'll find it right away, and you can see it already found it in the actual buttons right there. So let me actually put this on. Take a look at what we have here for a few games or whatever. So funny enough, Puyo and Tetris would be a pretty good one to actually use here for it. Let me actually turn the sound off because that's the last thing we need is all the different sounds that you're using here. But a lot of people like to use the standard D-pad for something like a Tetris. I did mention a couple of the other ones that are useful, so Street Fighter, any of the fighters that you may run across on the Nintendo Switch are probably going to be someone liking this altogether. So your actual picture button still works. You can see obviously this is not an area where you can actually use it on, but this is more of like a button where you press into it, whereas the standard Switch button is more of like a click. I guess I would almost call it like a mouse click or something along those lines. Button up top also feels rubbery. It's not the same thing as it would be from the other buttons. Like I said, these are clicky. These are more mouse clicky. These are like a rubbery feel on them. Now, one thing that I have seen that a lot of people have been mentioning is that their actual Joy-Con did have some of that lag issue. And immediately, as I'm playing here, this D-pad feels so much better on Tetris. I would almost, suggest using just this one. So if I'm going to throw almost a Tetris there, but let's don't try to actually get that. But it does actually feel pretty great. So how much does this thing cost? These run you about $14 to $20 depending on what you want. I actually got this on an Amazon sale for $14.99. Obviously, depending where you're at, you're going to pay for that actual shipping. But if you're looking for just a Joy-Con that has this D-pad for the type of game you're playing, and you're a big handheld player, this might be the option for you. It's cheap. You don't have to buy a set of them. You only need one. If you have maybe a drifting joystick, this might be an easier way for you to get that. And if you don't plan on disconnecting it, this might be perfect for you as well and an affordable option. This one is a Super Mario one. It comes in red. The Zelda one, I believe, is in a black color, and you have a few of the Triforce colors that may go along with it. But so far, my short-term review here in this unboxing is that this works fantastic. So if you're wanting to pick this up, you'll find it on Amazon. I think you can find them on eBay. You should be able to even find them somewhere around GameStop along those lines. So let me pull the box right back here for us. It's simply called the D-pad controller, and it is just the L button. Once again, this one is also I see it for lightning deals all the time, but it works fantastic. So anyways, if you have any questions, if you want me to test anything else, maybe a different game or something, I wanted to use Tetris. Like I said, a lot of people like using Street Fighter. Let me know in the comments below. This might be right down your alley though.